until next time, keep watching movies.
Just not 365 days. Damn.
What?
Nothing personnel, kid.
Hello and welcome back to the 72nd episode of Good Bad Media LLC, show where we watch terrible movies to tell you if you should too. I'm your host, Mr. Brian Shilgo. Across the table, the other host, the creator of the table, Mr. Kyle Henton. Once again, this is not Ryan's Babe, but I think you will forgive us because it's an oft-requested episode. It's another Alex Maisonette film.
What?
Well, it's 10 years now, and I'm still here, acting as a drug dealer, running around with Big Ed. For this case, I'm Jackson. I'm Uncle Mace.
This is Alex Maisonette's first film.
Directorial debut.
Yes, and it shows. Here's the thing. This movie's interesting. It's Narx. It's absolutely... So, a la Neil Breen, Alex Maisonette has made the same movie
multiple
times, three times at least. We don't know. The Curse sounds slightly different. The only other one we haven't talked about sounds slightly different. But this, Lady Writer and Checkmate are the same movie. Now, Lady Writer and Checkmate are like sequels, kind of, but they're all one movie basically. And this is the exact same thing. This was his rough draft for Lady Writer / Checkmate. This movie is those movies except completely incomprehensible.
It's been a goose chase, chasing Big Ed. And it was all good until now. We discovered that Ace is gonna play double jeopardy on us and bring his ace into the hole.
He watched The Departed.
Yeah.
And then was like, hey, I can do this.
Yeah, this is Internal Affairs. This is The Departed, except incomprehensible. The plot is impossible to follow. It's very close to Billy Owen's level of I give up, I can't follow this.
In doing a background check on Detective Clark, we discovered that, in fact, he was born in Jamaica, and obviously so was his twin brother.
Mike Fabio's brother, John Fabio, who practiced law in Puerto Rico, was linked to Mike Fabio's operation in Puerto Rico. 2 weeks before the DEA closed in on Mike Fabio's operation, he was assassinated.
I don't even have a clue what's going on.
Again, this his first film, 2011, also stars Fat Joe.
Lean back, come on.
Which this
You mean the one day of shooting they had him for?
one day, the 5 minutes of shooting they had him for. He is in one scene.
Exactly one scene.
This is how I fucking breathe, motherfucker.
Like one shot.
One shot and
delivers
has, like,
one line.
Top billing.
Yes. Like, it's so funny because we joked about in Checkmate, you know, how little he's in the movie and how they use body doubles. They had infinitely more time with him in that movie than they did in this one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. This is my favorite. Let's get this actor to be in the movie, somebody kind of famous to be in the movie. Oh, we only have them for one scene. Let's figure out a way to work around that.
Also, we can only afford Fat Joe.
Yes. So let's figure out a way to explain why his character is in all of the movie, but it's not Fat Joe.
Running around with Big Ed.
It's a different guy. It's my favorite thing about this entire film, and I don't want to spoil it right out the get up because it's very confusing, and I went on a journey with this film of figuring out what was going on with Big Ed. But we'll get to the Big Ed and the big reveal.
For the record, I'm letting everybody know that I am Big Ed.
The cover says it's based on true undercover drug busts, which, I think Alex Mays was a cop, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
That's what
I have no question that he was a cop, and he probably even did undercover work.
Yeah, and probably a lot of the people in this movie are like his cop friends, maybe, which I think is part of the problem with his films. He goes, well, we were cops. We know what cops say, so we'll just make up cop talk. And it's incomprehensible.
You're in the Uncle car, obviously, with the Ghost. Ghost is going to be Argo. You guys are also in the hospital car, all right? Jacoby Hospital's the hospital. Know how to get there no matter where you are. Uncle Mace, take your case by clothes with you, okay? In case you get the call while we're out there.
Got it.
We can just re-tack up. We'll meet up later out in the field, and we'll re-tack and go from there.
Every scene is them all standing in a circle talking about going on a drug bust and just like improvising cop jargon for like undercover jargon for like 5 minutes, and then the scene ends.
Yeah, so we're gonna hit this place.
We're gonna hit this place. They got it's a big deal. We got about 10 keys. From the 18th, Ghost. He's gonna ghost you.
Make sure the Kel box is in the vehicle. All right. Detective Clark is going to be ghosting, and Agent Wilson, you're going to be undercover. You're going to be making the buy. There's a lot of money involved in this. You know, we're talking 10 keys.
So I think Alex Mays was like, well, I don't need to write these scenes. All these guys are my cop buddies. We can just make it up.
We know we speak cop.
We do this. This is like just normal life for us, but it doesn't work that way in a movie because you have character names and made up situations and stuff, and they don't know any of that. So it's all just them stumbling over, like trying to make up lines.
All right, fellas. Everybody knows what we're going to do, right? We're going in for our second buy here. Uncle Mace is going to go in. June, the ghost. Key, we're not going to be able to see him, so we need your eyes. It's very important. You keep us in the loop what's going on. It's a big buy.
This movie was also shot, I think, over the course of quite a while because we get like 4 different cameras that are used during the filming of it. At least 2. There's like a very low quality consumer level digital video camera stuff, and there's also like the stuff we see in Checkmate, which is like a higher level, prosumer level.
Well, they were using the Panasonic. The only reason I know is because this is what I shot my film on. It's a Panasonic HPX 300.
Yeah.
One of those ones that's over the shoulder, bulky ones.
Yeah.
They got like the 2 foot long lens.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, because there's numerous stuff that it's so terrible, like so low quality, and there's a lot of stuff shot like that. But then there's a lot of stuff that looks like normal Alex Mays stuff, which isn't great, but it looks somewhat cinematic. And it switches back and forth constantly, and it's very confusing.
Here's the real question. There's a lot of scenes where they add it looks like they add a choppy effect.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that was because they put that in for flavor, or they forgot their frame rate setting?
I don't know. It could be both. It could be either. There's so many things, like so many weird errors in this. The thing that's most fascinating about this film is it's terrible, and it's probably the least watchable Alex Maisonette film of the 3 we've done. But it's very interesting from a film study of the growth of Alex Mays as a filmmaker, because it's identical to his other 2 films while being slightly less competent. Like, not that his other movies are competent, but like they at least are somewhat followable in terms of the way that this narrative is set up and established. In this one, we just cut from scene to scene, from different cop groups to gang groups, just talking about different characters that we haven't met yet, and it's incomprehensible. The first 20 minutes of this movie, I was like, how are we going to talk about this?
I tell you, Ace is okay, man. I've done a lot of shit with him in the past. He's got the guys we need to go up against Big Ed.
Remember that female? About 8 months ago, she was with Cash. She was the money person. Now she's the hand-to-hand. She's my hand-to-hand.
No, stay over there. And listen, this is the story. You tell Big Ed I want to sit down. No more phone conversation. And right now, it's going to be 40-60. Is that understood?
This movie's wild. So we start off with his hard-boiled cop voiceover, which Alex Mays doing the hard-boiled detective voiceover it's amazing. So good.
Well, it's 10 years now, and I'm still here acting as a drug dealer, running around with Big Ed. For this case, I'm Jackson. I'm Uncle Mace.
Like, there's a certain quality to Alex Maisonette where redundancy is not in his vocabulary.
No, it's everything he says, he just repeats 8 times.
Well, it's 10 years now. Well, it's been 10 years now. And I'm still here, acting as a drug dealer.
And we've discussed it before, but he has an obsession with time and how long it's been since things have happened. And I don't know where that came from or what that is, but he has obsessed with it and talks about it constantly. And this one starts with him explaining numerous times that it's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years?
Since he was undercover. It's been 10 years, Kyle. 10 years. Dome, 10 years. Dome, 10 years.
How long he's been undercover?
10 years, Kyle.
It's been 10 years now. Every year, I say I'm going to stop. But here I am today.
He's been an undercover drug dealer, and I love he says, I'm Uncle Maze. Or Mace or whatever. And I don't mean
it's your uncle, but as an undercover cop.
I'm Jackson. I'm Uncle Mace. And when I say I'm Uncle Mace, I'm not talking about an uncle and auntie. I'm an undercover. And here in Narx, we use the term uncle for an undercover.
And everything he says, there's pauses in between.
I swear, if he
words.
were to go up to a drug deal and he's like, "Hi, my name is
Uncle Maze.
Uncle Maze. I am here to buy drugs."
Yeah, it's so good. Oh, I love it.
For some reason, I continue to do this line of work. It's maybe because I enjoy it. It's challenging. The overtime. Plus, I'm good in what I do.
And then we get introduced to a guy in a hoodie, and he goes, "That's Big Ed. He's the guy hiding behind the hoodie. Who would want to be Big Ed?"
Who would ever want to be Big Ed? I take that back. A lot of people.
I take that back. Everybody wants to be Big Ed. Thanks, man. Awesome. Thanks. Great. Oh,
that line.
I know.
Oh, God.
It's so good.
I tell you, this case is not just an ordinary case of just drugs.
And there's more. The monologue goes on forever. This is an operation of cops fighting cops for precision.
This is an operation of cops fighting cops for precision.
What does that mean? That's not a sentence that means anything.
What?
And then we cut to the one scene with Fat Joe. We get the one scene.
Not only that, don't we get the Jamaican guys?
That's after this.
Okay.
This is because we get the scene with Fat Joe, and this is where he goes to prison. The scene with Fat Joe, they walk into a warehouse. All these cops walk in. And they point guns at each other, and they're like, "Oh, drop the guns, drop the guns." And we see Fat Joe, and then it cuts to the opening title and says Narx.
I just had a huge revelation. We'll get to it later.
Well, okay. But so the cops run in, they arrest Fat Joe. He goes to prison. Well, at least that's what we find out later. And then the opening Narx title pops up. Then we fade to the Jamaican guys by the river, or by the lake, or whatever, by the ferry. And this is where I'm like, what is happening here? And so the ferry pulls up, and I love this. There's the blurred out sign. There's so many. Alex Mays has done this in all of his movies. I guess for like distribution, they have to blur out every
because
logo.
We get that with like glasses
and hats and T-shirts and everything, just blurred out shit. And the ferry sign is completely blurred out.
That's a problem in Alex Maisonette's world. Is not so much that there's not a lot of product placement. It's just his vision is very out of focus.
The Blaze is a top level thing.
Should burn something to them.
Yeah, man, we have something.
Rastafari, bless.
And then so we get these Rastafarian Jamaican guys sitting on the bench, and a kid and a woman walk up.
Come up here, little man. You know what's a good story? I'll tell you a good story.
Oh my God! And it's my favorite thing is because we've seen Alex Maisonette so many times and know his voice. It's so painfully obvious that this is Alex Maisonette doing
with amazing dreads,
fake dreads, doing the most incredible fake Jamaican accent I've ever fucking heard.
You want to hear a story, man? Okay, little champion.
My favorite thing is, so the kid walks up and it's so fucking obvious that this is Alex Maisonette doing that voice, and I love it because Alex Maisonette can't improvise, so all he knows how to do a Jamaican voice is to say "man" like 8 million times.
You want to hear a story, man? Okay, little champion. You want to hear a story, man? Okay. Once upon a time, man.
It just says it like 8 times to this little kid in like 4 seconds, and it's, oh my God, I love it. Alex Mays doing a fucking Jamaican accent.
You want to hear a story, man?
This is the guy that drove me to the hospital 15 years ago when I got shot.
And then we cut to 5 years ago.
Once upon a time, man. About 5 years ago, man.
5 years ago?
Yes, 5 years ago.
Okay.
5 years ago. So this Jamaican guy that we don't know is telling this little kid that we don't know a story. And we don't know. So this is kind of the frame story for our main story, and we'll resolve it at the end. And it says 5 years ago, and then I love there's a title that pops up that says inspired by true cop stories. I was like, sure, okay.
Okay.
And this is another thing that's super confusing about this movie it's not within the continuity of Checkmate or Lady Rider, but all of the same actors are in it, playing basically the same roles.
Yes.
So it's really hard to keep straight. I was like, okay, because like Detective Paulie, the guy who is one of the corrupt guys in Checkmate or whatever, is in it. Sal is it, like everybody who's in his other movies is in this movie.
Isn't Sal just Detective Sal?
Yeah, they're all have like the same names too, like, and Detective Fitz and Detective, they're all just like Detective Sal, Detective Fitz, Detective Paulie, playing like similar roles but slightly different. Again, this movie, he just remade it when he made Lady Rider and added like the serial killer thing in. It's yeah.
So we gonna smash all your home, baby?
And then, so at this point, they realize Big Ed's getting out of prison, or he is getting out of prison on some sort of technicality or something. It doesn't matter. And then Alex Mays is prepping for a sting or something. I don't know. This beginning is completely incomprehensible and not really important. They go on some drug busts, and some stuff happens, and Fitz and Paulie are corrupt, and Sal are all corrupt detectives.
We got a problem. Coming out of the precinct, I look across the street to see Rhodes. Okay? Guess who he's talking to? Mace. It was Mace. I see them talking and shake hands. Rhodes takes off around the corner. We got problems.
And they're worried that Mays and Rhodes, who's the guy who plays Rhodes is an actual actor too, that he's in this movie for like 5 minutes at the beginning and gets assassinated. The corrupt detectives are worried that Mays and Rhodes are going to figure out that they're corrupt, so they have Rhodes killed, I think is the idea. Like, he gets in a car and gets shot by some dude in a hat, which is Ace, I think. We find out later. Ace, right? Ace is one of the characters.
Yeah, because he's the twin brother.
Yeah, spoiler, he's a twin. That's a great fucking twist at the end of this movie.
We discovered that, in fact, he was born in Jamaica, and obviously so was his twin brother, but there was no record for him. Their parents sold both of them, one to one family and one to the other.
There's a great scene on a roof with Paulie and Sal and a bunch of and another gang, and they're like all have guns pointed at each other, and they keep yelling like drug lingo at each other, and then the scene ends. I can't follow any of this. It's insanity.
It's like a foreign language.
What's happening here?
They're cool. They're with me. So what's going on?
I gave him the proposition to Big Ed. 40, 60.
So then Mays goes to this safe house and he buys some drugs. As an undercover thing, he buys some drugs, and this is the one with the basement where he gets shot later. He goes in there, he buys some drugs, and then he leaves, and they're setting that place up for later because they're going to do a sting there later.
Good shit. Good shit.
Right around the 20 or 30 minute mark, it stops just bouncing back and forth from random drug stings and deals to like an actual somewhat setup of the story and kind of what's going on.
Yeah, and I would say this is the part where we start getting into the internal affairs stuff.
Yeah,
but
a little bit.
This is the part where like they can smell the rat almost. The rat's in the department. Oh, look, it's The Departed.
Yeah.
And I know he has something to do with this.
Something that Percy said makes sense. He says, listen, you came here, you spent $300,000, and you're talking about you're going to come back next week and spend $200,000 more? Man, listen, something don't sound right, man.
And there's a great scene where they're undercover, or where they're in a house, and they have a thing where they still do the thing where the police station is clearly somebody's house with just those same posters stuck on the fucking wall. I love it so much.
Come to order, guys.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
It's also very reassuring and makes me feel nice that Alex Mays from day one has been using the constant kick drum sound effect on every cut that happens. Doom, 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 every fucking cut.
I want to do it. I want to take care of it. Don't worry about it. All right, we do whatever Ace tells us.
And he drops in the same goddamn music cues over and over again. They're like terrible lo-fi MIDI drum like percussion beat things. It's incredible.
Yes, the detective is here.
There is some great music stuff throughout this film, especially the end credits.
I didn't watch the end credits.
Okay, so
I skipped them.
The end credits goes through this normal song, and it goes pretty much through its entirety. But he didn't increase the speed of the credits to match it. So it just like cuts out in the last 45 seconds to a completely separate song that sounds like very awkward. It's just very awkwardly different.
And then so Maze is going in. This is where we get where Maze almost gets assassinated the first time. We're gonna talk about this scene. He's going into a drug deal, and I love this. He goes, he's going in, and he's sitting in the car, and he's like, all right, I got my 2-shot.
Yo, you got your 2-shot?
Yeah, I got my 2-shot. Real quick, I'm gonna put it in my hat.
Cool.
And they cut to a shot. Oh, I guess it's like a 2-barrel revolver like thing or something.
Like a pepper box almost?
I don't know what that is, but sure. It's some sort of little revolver, like a tiny little revolver thing. And he goes, I'm going to put it in my hat because they're going to search me.
Yeah, because, they might search you. You know that, right?
I got a feeling they are.
All right.
And so he sticks it in his Kango. He puts the fucking gun in his Kango, which is a great. I love it. Which is probably, I mean, again, assuming he was an undercover cop, that's probably like a thing he did or something. Who knows? I don't know.
I need you to shove this in my ass, and I need it in a pinch.
Yeah. So he puts his 2-shot in his hat. And they're also, at this point, we find out that somebody set up a hit on him. And it turns out, I think, to be the detectives or something. It doesn't matter.
Yo, you know what Mace looks like? Yeah, I know what it looks like. You know where he at? Yeah. There you go.
And we cut to the house, and they Maze goes in to do this drug deal or whatever, and he gets patted down, and the guy, so he put his gun in his hat because he knew they were going to search him. I swear to God, they cut inside, he's getting patted down. The guy reaches up and grabs his hat.
Finished, man.
And doesn't
why
realize
would you ever why would you ever think that? B, how did you not notice?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, so the whole point was he put the gun in his hat so that when they patted him down, they wouldn't notice. The guy grabs his head and like you would feel the fucking gun. What was the point of the whole like, oh, put it in my hat if they're just gonna search his hat, but then not feel it? Anyway, okay, cool, great. The drug transaction goes down, and as Maze is leaving, a guy walks up with a gun by his car, pulls out a gun and just points it at him and doesn't shoot forever.
Match, man. I ain't got a match.
He just walks up pointing a gun at him, and then I guess another undercover cop pulls out a gun and shoots that guy, and there's a great CG blood spurt.
Oh yeah.
It's really good.
I ain't got a match.
And all this is from like the same camera angle, right?
Yeah, all one camera angle. Yeah,
it's completely incomprehensible.
Yeah, it's all one wide camera angle, and you can't tell what's happening. And it's just like, oh, a guy pulled a gun, and another guy had a gun. What? All right, sure.
I guess it's a situation where you would want close-ups of like maybe a hand into a pocket, pulls a gun.
Any other coverage would be great. We get one wide shot of this all happen, and that can be dramatic in its own way if it's done well. Does not. It's just that was the only angle he got because he didn't know how to shoot this action scene. He's just like, oh, we'll set up a camera and the guy will run up. All right, cool.
Nah, man, I ain't got a match, man. I ain't got a match.
Move in! Move in!
Let's get after it.
And then we cut to Club Sofrito, which is a club where lots of stuff happens. It's got great music. And I can't stress enough, and I'll try to edit it in a way where you can gather this from this. He constantly puts in dramatic music cues in places that they have no purpose being. Like,
wait there.
Like a scene will be happening, somebody will walk from one side of the room to the other, and it'll go da-da-down, da-da-down, dum, dum, and I'm like, what is happening? Nothing happened.
All right.
You sit here. You get out.
Go back. I got it.
What is going on, music? What am I supposed to be getting from this? What is going on?
I don't want any problem. No problem.
This is where we have to start the saga of Big Ed. So I gotta set this up because this is gonna take some doing to explain and kind of explain the journey I went on watching this movie.
This is definitely where things get really
wild.
Yes, that's putting it mildly.
Okay, so I knew Fat Joe was in the movie, and I looked at the IMDb page for this, and he's playing a character named Big Ed, is what it says. He's top billed, says Big Ed. And we saw him in that first scene, and we knew that's Big Ed. Okay. At this point, a character shows up, getting out of prison.
Yes.
Whose name is Big Ed.
Yes.
Yo, good to see you, Ed.
Yo, appreciate you holding this down for me, man.
You got that, bro. You know you my dude. Yo, you came out just at the right time.
What you mean, man? You kind of scared me with all that.
And it is not Fat Joe.
It is not Fat Joe at all. It is not Fat Joe at all.
It's not even remote. Now, to be fair, it's a guy that kind of looks like Fat Joe a little bit. It's a big fat white guy with a goatee who kind of looks like Fat Joe if you squint from a mile away. Like he kind of looks like him.
If you have detached retina, it might look like Fat Joe.
So the first stage of this journey was me going, wait a second.
Who the fuck's that?
Who is that? Is that Big Ed? I thought Big Ed was Fat Joe. Wait.
Did Fat Joe let himself go during
shooting?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so that's not Fat Joe. Oh, okay, so is what happened here. So my first thought was, okay, what happened here is, and as he kept showing up in more and more scenes and doing more stuff, I'm like, this must be what's going on. What happened here is Fat Joe was gonna play this role, showed up, did the one day of shooting, had something come up, couldn't finish filming or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, well, we're just going to replace him with a guy that kind of looks like him and not...
Or in some cases, money.
Sure, or money, yeah, maybe that. Maybe he thought he was going to get paid more, whatever. Who knows? Whatever reason, he couldn't keep doing it, all right? Mm-hmm. And so they got a guy who looks vaguely like him, and we're like, the audience, we're gonna do an actor switch and just let the audience not think about it. It's the same guy, deal with it.
It worked in Game of Death.
Don't you agree with that, Billy?
Get the hell out of here.
Patience. That's not one of our virtues.
Okay, we're just gonna get a guy. We'll replace him. Deal with it. It's Big Ed. Just he's a different actor. Okay, that's what I thought was going on, right? I'm like, fine. I guess that's insanity and amazing, but I'm gonna let it happen. I'm gonna let you do that. That's not what went. That's not what the fucking case, and we'll get to it.
Your Kanye moment there.
I'm gonna let it happen. I'm gonna let you do that. What?
I'm gonna let it finish.
I'm gonna let it finish.
But Alex Maisonette was shot 15 years ago.
I'm gonna let you finish, but Fat Joe was the best Big Ed of all time. I'm gonna let you finish, but Fat Joe was the best Big Ed of all time. And then we get a lot of flashbacks and just dreams and cuts. And at one point, Alex Maisonette has a dream about getting shot.
No.
And I love this. He wakes up and his girlfriend, and they have a conversation after he has this nightmare about getting shot. And the audio, they're like whispering to each other, and the audio is cranked so high. It's
and it's really bad. It's really bad for one of them. I don't know who.
The whole time they're fucking talking.
The second time you have this dream about getting shot. I know. Are you gonna wait till it happens for real?
No, sweetie. It was just a dream.
It's really bad for one of the two in particular. Like one of them's like loud and clear, and the other one's like kind of muffled.
Yeah.
Listen, this is one of the biggest cases, and after this case, it will be all over.
Yeah, and I love he basically says, I've been doing this for a long time, 10 years or whatever. I work in this case. This is my last case. Once I'm done, I'm done. I'm gonna be there for our son because she's pregnant. His wife or girlfriend or whatever is pregnant. Maddie is her name.
1 month ago, you said you wanted a baby. I gave you that. 8 months from now, you're gonna be a father. I want my kid to have a dad.
And you know what's funny is that this scene.
You couldn't be setting that up any harder for him to get shot.
Right, I know. This scene, though, where Maze is talking to her and they're in bed and they're kind of flirting with each other is the single most natural scene I've ever seen Alex Maisonette put to film.
I grew up without a father. And for this baby, I will be around. I guarantee you that.
You promise?
I promise.
He speaks and acts like a human being in this scene. Is the only time I've ever seen him act remotely natural.
You hear me in there, big guy?
10-4, Daddy.
Oh, you want to be a wise ass?
It's so wild. I was like, oh, so Alex Maisonette just needs to like be flirting with a woman, and then he can like act like a human.
Because he got game, man.
I guess. But it's so wild because every other thing, even the most mundane of situations with Alex Maisonette, he's a fucking automaton.
Especially when it's just something as simple as, hey, we're going to go to this place and do this thing.
It's kind of like closed up down there. It's only actually one way in and one way out.
And
he can't say it like a human being. He has to say it like a goddamn robot.
Like you would look at him and be like, is that some sort of innuendo, or are we doing something else? No, we go into this place.
Yeah.
And we're doing
this thing.
That's right. Big Ed is the guy that hides behind a hoodie. He don't want cops to recognize him. It's funny. Who would ever want to be Big Ed? I take that back. A lot of people.
But he says it, he delivers every line like a robot. But this scene, he's talking to that girl, and they're like flirting and playing, and I'm like, who is this actor? This isn't Alex Maisonette. I've never seen this actor before. What is going on?
I'm poor daddy.
Oh, you want to be a wise ass?
Wise ass.
And then I love this. So the police chief calls a big meeting. It's the board of all the NYPD or whatever, and the police chief's great. He's setting up this meeting, and he horribly improvises this meeting about how they need to take down the drug dealers now. This is the time. We're not waiting anymore. We got to do this now.
Gentlemen, you're here because you're the best we've got. There's more experience, investigative experience sitting at this table than anywhere else. I need solutions to the problem. I need something I can take back to the mayor today.
We can't wait. We got to solve this today. And I love they cut to a random close-up of one of the second-in-command guys, and it's just such a tight close-up of his nose that you can see the skin peeling off of his nose.
I know you've been working hard.
It's like he got sunburned the day before the shoot or something. It's horrifying. And I love, the chief goes, we got to start a crusade. I was like, all right. You know, there's some historical implications when you say things like start a crusade, but all right.
Put your best effort into it, gentlemen. We've lost one of our own. Start a crusade.
This is supposed to be like the big impassioned plea to fire up the police department to go take down these dangerous drug dealers, and it's all completely monotone. And the end of it, he's just like, we got to start a crusade. Okay, now I'm going to turn things over to the captain.
Start a crusade.
That's where my lines end.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, and now my lines are done. You talk. It's so good.
Captain.
Thanks, Chief. All right, fellas. Everybody here knows the operation. We've been through everything. Everybody knows the main players. The smaller players, the little guys, we're not really that interested in. All right. Big Ed is our target.
So Big Ed got locked up, but he got stronger while he was on the inside because he just takes he got a connection, and he takes his territory by moving in and just killing everybody, is what they say.
His MO is, as we discussed, he takes over neighborhoods just by sheer violence, kills everybody, takes it over, and once he's comfortable, he expands.
And so Rhodes, one of Rhodes' brothers, the guy who got killed in the beginning, cop, his brother is also a sergeant, and he's the most terrified looking actor I've ever seen. He shows up to give some lines, and he looks horrified to be on camera.
Alex Maisonette was probably threatening him on camera.
It's true.
Let me turn it over to the sergeant. Sergeant.
So then I love there's some small talk where Alex Mays is talking to a guy, and they're like, you going to that party tonight? And Alex Mays, yeah, I'm going to the party. Yeah, I'm going to the party.
Hey, Mace, how you doing?
Hey, boss.
How's it going?
What's going on?
Good.
All right.
What's up, boss? All right. How are you doing?
You going to the party tonight?
Oh, definitely. You bring your wife?
Yeah, it's about time, man.
This is the small talk. It's so, again, this small talk is so unnatural. It's like, how can you be so bad? You bringing your wife? Yeah, I'm bringing my wife.
Definitely. You bring your wife?
Yeah, it's about time, man. You know, only time we got, to ourselves.
Yeah. How you making out on the last part to take down Big Ed?
Well, we're waiting on the phone call, but it's gonna take place.
And I got to talk about this line. So this undercover drug sting goes down where Agent Wilson, the guy who played Blaze in the last movie.
Blaze!
Yeah.
Oh my God! Blaze! Oh Lord! The streets took you, Blaze. Didn't I tell you? Oh!
Yeah, Blaze plays Agent Wilson in this movie. He was an undercover. And he does this drug deal. And he hands Big Ed a wad of money. I think it's Big Ed. And Big Ed goes, do I need to count this? And Agent Wilson responds, "Not if your math is bad."
Do I need to count this?
Not if your math is bad.
What?
What does that mean? Do I need to count this? Not if your math is bad.
What?
Do I need to count this?
Not if your math is bad.
And then I love they cut to the dinner with all the cops. It's all the detectives and their wives having dinner. And this was clearly whatever restaurant they filmed this in, like Club Adobo or whatever this restaurant, said, yeah, we'll comp you the meal as long as you have numerous close-up, long take shots of our fancy food in your movie. There's like several shots of just dishes of food and like people eating food. Like, I'm like, why are we watching this? All right. And then Agent Wilson, he does the drug deal, he leaves, and he gets killed.
Yo, Wilson.
By a guy with a voice changer.
Yes.
For some reason, he has a voice changer.
Yo, trust me, man, I got this. Sergeant wants you to go that way. Go that way. Just listen to him.
I don't know why. It's Ace. It's Ace that does it, because we see him. He has the hat. It's the same guy that killed Rhodes, and it's the same guy who's one of the crooked cops, I think, or whatever.
I had him, man. I saw him. Everything was okay.
We're gonna take care of it.
He kills Agent Wilson, and there's a great shot of his bloody head where they squirted some fruit juice on the concrete. That's his fucking head. And then we get a fucking news scene,
and it wasn't Lenny G.
Lenny G.
I'm Holly Jones with Max News Live at Adobo Lounge.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
We did not get Lenny G in this movie.
Get out of here, Holly Jones. Nobody likes you. And it's not news today.
No, it's like news.
It's Max News.
Max News.
I'm Holly Jones with Max News Live at Adobo Lounge, where just about an hour ago in a narcotics incident, a highly decorated agent in the Narx division was assassinated.
God!
Fuck out of here, Holly Jones. Nobody likes you. But she is still using a shotgun Rode mic as her news.
Not just a shotgun Rode mic, which is you couldn't even add like maybe like a little flag stop at the bottom of it. No, it's straight up XLR
the same thing
cable.
as Lenny G, yeah.
XLR cable straight to the camera.
Yeah, straight to the camera. It's the exact same setup as the Lenny G one, except we don't get the news today open and it's Max News today or something like that. Which, to be fair, Max News makes more sense than news. I don't know why he switched to news in his later projects.
At least with Holly Jones, we're in a situation where it's at least police taped off and the body's not there while the CSI people are still working on it.
Lenny G with news today. As you can see behind me, there's a dead body and a CSI crime unit. And I'm standing literally in the crime scene right now.
Lenny G reporting for News Today. We have gotten into the crime scene. As you can see from what we can see, there's blood all over here, all on this device. It seems like the body possibly could have been crushed.
With hers, it was just like, here's slightly off blood marks from what we did in the previous shot because we didn't think about continuity.
We didn't think about continuity at all, no. So then Maze calls his wife and they have a great heartfelt phone conversation over sappy piano music.
Hi, babe. I guess you saw in the news by now.
I did.
Man, that rookie was in for about a year. I can't believe it. He was in with these people. This wasn't supposed to happen.
Anyway, how's his family doing?
It's been difficult here. And it's chaos. Everybody's running around.
Say no more.
She's just like, don't think about it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you brought it up.
Yeah. It's so fucking amazing.
Damn. I wish I was there with him.
Don't say that.
So then Fat Joe sees that Agent Wilson got killed on the news. He's watching Max News, although he's so fat he can't get up to get the remote off the table, so he has to have his...
Babe.
All of a sudden, you're interested in the news?
Can you just turn it up? Wait, hold on now.
You know what, Mom? Just hold on for a second. Oh,
live at Adobo Lounge, where just about an hour ago.
Oh, and I got this one little thing. So there's these random, occasionally a few times in the movie, we get a cut, and almost every time it's to a street sign that says like something point or whatever, Hanover Point or something. But there's this cut sound effect that he uses. So he has the dun, you know, like the slam sound effect that he uses constantly. But he also has this other one that sounds like some person going into a mic. Shwoop! Like shoop, like doing like a whoosh cut sound effect. But like it sounds like a person going shoop. We did that the first year of the film festival that we competed in for We've Got a Problem. Yeah. Sam did all of the sound effects with his mouth.
For what? For this.
What is that?
Like every single sound effect in that movie is Sam going.
That was kind of a joke, though, right?
Yeah, it's a comedy. Like that's all. The point is that it's silly, but yeah, because we wanted like whooshes and stuff, and so it's Sam going. Like making like mouth noises, but yeah, it's intentionally stupid, but yeah.
Get your head in the game, kid. This isn't the game. But you just said it was.
So they have to get to this warehouse where the money is being stored from some drug deal or something. And so Big Ed's like, we got to get there, and Ace has got to get there. And then the detectives realize they got to get there too, because otherwise the money's gonna Ace is gonna take the money or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, we have one of Big Ed's guys tied up here. What do you want me to do?
Take him out.
All right, consider it done.
And I love, they have a slow-mo. So you remember that scene in Checkmate or Lady Rider where the cops roll up before the shootout and it's like a slow-mo of them all walking and like cocking guns and it's like badass?
Yeah.
He did that in this movie,
yes.
And it's all these cops walking down the stairs to this song going, Boys in Blue, yeah, they comin', is the title, like the chorus of the song. And I love there's a slow-mo shot of the K9 unit to like this badass music, and it's just this black dog like, what's happening?
They are boys in blue and yeah, they coming. They are boys in blue and yeah, they coming.
I'm just walking down the stairs. I love it so much.
They are boys in blue and yeah, they coming.
And this is where the mayor launches Operation Crusade, and they just start busting everybody on the street. And we get lots of like random shots of from the low quality camera. And my favorite shot in this sequence is one of the cops goes up to the door. It's the guy who's always on the headset listening, and he pulls his gun out and he pulls the guy out and turns him around to arrest him, and he tries to holster his gun, and the dude tries to holster his gun like 18 times in a row and cannot get the gun into the fucking holster. I think because his jacket is covering the holster, but he's literally like holding the guy and he's like like 20 goddamn times. It's amazing.
Drugs in the picture, they gon' get ya, they gon' get ya. Yeah,
and there's also this great, that same guy goes, he's improvising some cop lingo of them busting or finding a criminal. He goes, sir, I think I have the mail, black hoodie, black pants.
Yeah, I think we got the male black with the black hoodie and the black pants in sight. I believe that's him.
Great description. Great description.
He just like, it'd be like, I would be like, cut, dude. You know, there's colors other than black, right? He just like says like,
looking for a suspect. He is black. What is he wearing? Black. All right. Is there any other description? Black.
You do crime, you gon' do time. Stay gon' get ya, they gon' get ya. They coming all colors, going undercover, and they gon' get ya, they gon' get ya.
And this is where the final thing where Alex Mays gets shot, or not the final thing, but where Alex gets shot. He goes, there's only one way in, one way out. We get some sweet cuts of the door and nonsense.
All right. It's kind of like closed up down there. It's only actually one way in and one way out.
And then Alex goes in, and as he's going in, Big Ed or somebody calls and says, hey, Alex Mays isn't there to buy drugs. He's there to kill somebody or something. And so they're like, oh, shit. So we know shit's about to go down.
Well, it was Torres who was tipping off like they're going to kill Mays.
Who's this? This is Agent Torres. Listen, I'm calling because I got good information saying that Uncle Mace is going to get shot.
No.
Yeah, he said he's walking into a trap. This is a drug deal. This is assassination.
You're right. But at this point, we don't know he's Torres. We just think he's Big Ed.
True.
So it's a little confusing.
Like, Big Ed, why
why are you?
You're a ruthless killer. What's going on here?
These guys are not there to sell drugs. It's a rip. They're actually there to kill him. Uncle Mace has a hit out on him.
And then so then it cuts inside, and Mays is standing there, and a guy pulls out a gun and puts it to his head, and it cuts to black, and we hear a gunshot. And I'm like, oh shit, Alex Mays just got shot in the fucking face. But then it cuts, and they all come, like all the cops come running in and grab him, and he's not dead. He's bleeding, he's dying, but he's not, and oh, he didn't get shot in the face. Don't show a guy pull a gun out and put it to a person's face and then have a gunshot sound if that guy didn't get shot in the face. That's just a little
like,
tip.
He jumps up.
He jumped. So he's like, no, don't shoot me in the face. Oh, and as this is happening, we cut back to his wife cleaning dishes. And she does your thing, kind of. There's a glass sitting on the edge of the counter.
God.
And she knocks it off right as Mays gets shot, and it falls and breaks. And all I just wanted was her to cut and turn and look at it and go, the glass broke.
I'm gonna go kill myself now.
But the water still remains.
So you're just gonna turn your back on your home and your past?
This place is like this glass of water. Keeps it from flowing freely. This place is just a pool.
I'll get somebody to clean that up.
It broke. The glass broke, but the water, it's still there. No matter what confines it, it never.
I'm gonna need you to back that up so I can hear that again. Because that was amazing. The glass broke, Kyle. Oh, it's my favorite. And then we get a million flashbacks of Mays and his wife like talking and like all in black and white. And it's like, remember
I'm gonna be around for this kid.
I'm gonna be there for this kid.
I grew up with her. And for this baby, I will be around. I guarantee you that.
I'm definitely not gonna get shot while in the line of duty.
Nope.
This is my last one.
Promise?
I promise, yes.
And this also would be way more effective of a film if I didn't know what Alex Mays sounded like and didn't absolutely know that was him doing a terrible Jamaican accent at the beginning of the movie.
You promised me you'll tell me a story about your tattoo.
You want to hear a story, man? Okay, little champion.
Because the drama of this is not knowing whether he's alive or not, but it's very clear that that's him at the beginning because I know his voice.
I gotta see him. I gotta see him.
I'm sorry. Time of death 410.
Holly Jones shows up again at the hospital to explain that an undercover cop got shot, and I love her super comes up. It says Holly Jones, and then it cuts to B-roll, and then randomly on the last cut of B-roll before we go to the next scene, her name pops back up, and it just says Holly Jones, even though she's not on camera. And I'm like, okay, if this were a better film,
super out.
Yeah, I was like, if this were a better film, that could be actually a really clever, like, local news fucking up at a super thing. But I'm pretty sure Alex Mays just didn't know how to edit and accidentally edited that into his fucking video there. And then we get into the club. It doesn't matter. There's the two lawyers. You can't hear any of the dialogue because the music is too loud. And the only reason I know they're lawyers is because one of the guys goes, "We're both lawyers."
Yes.
But in any event, we're lawyers, so.
Last time I saw you was at Puerto Rico.
Yeah, thanks.
Condolences to your family.
Thank you very much. What brings you here?
But then we got to talk about the scene where they go, Sal, Paulie, and Fitz go to the safe house and they get the guy.
Yes.
This scene's amazing.
It's great.
Oh, they grab one of the guys at the drug safe house or whatever, and
This
they drag
is
him to the roof.
Price of admission, right here.
They drag him to the roof, Kyle, and they're like, "Hey, I don't even know what they want. I don't even care what they want. Doesn't matter." They're like, "Kenny, where's Kenny?" I'm like, "Who the fuck's Kenny? I don't even know. Whatever."
I'm giving you one more chance. One time only. Where's Kenny?
But they have their gun to his face, and they're like, he's like, "I don't know, man. I can't, blah, 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 blah." And then, instead of shooting him, because that would be obvious, and then they would know somebody shot him, they throw him off the fucking roof.
In the greatest dummy shot of all time.
Alex Mays, you know when you were a little kid and you'd rake the leaves before Halloween, and then you go get an old pair of jeans and a flannel shirt and you'd stuff it full of leaves and set it on your porch as like a scary man.
Yeah, totally.
That's what they did.
Yeah,
and then
that's exactly what they did. And they threw it off, and the arms and legs are flailing around like crazy.
And it lands and folds in half. The body folds in half like a goddamn accordion. And I think they thought, oh, that looks real. Like, that looks very bad. Like, oh, yeah, if you fell off a roof, and maybe that's possible. I'm not saying that can't happen if you fall from 8 stories or whatever.
Alex Maisonette's seen some shit, all right?
Yeah, I'm sure that is possible. But it's fucking amazing. It's so clearly a stuffed dummy. It's all lumpy. And he falls, and they report it as a jumper, and then we cut to a close-up of him dead, bleeding on the ground.
No emergency. EMS is on their way.
But the shot of that dummy falling off the roof it's in the trailer, too.
You know what you're going to have to do, Inya?
Oh, it's been so long! Welcome back, Inya.
Who can say where the road goes?
Pretty much after Maisonette bites it.
Yeah.
This goes from a gritty drug underworld story to
Internal affairs.
Yeah.
I'm Detective Robinson from the Internal Affairs Bureau.
So then we realize Ace has a twin brother. Surprise. The Ace has a twin brother.
My brother. I heard they got Big Ed for all his money over at the warehouse. I know. It's crazy shit.
And he's the ace in the hole.
Ace in the hole.
I'm Detective Clark's brother. Yeah, man, I'm a twin brother, man. I'm the ace in the hole he was talking about.
Clever. And I was like, I don't understand any of this. I wasn't following any of this well enough. And then they cut in. Ace goes into internal affairs, like board of review or whatever, and Big Ed's there.
And this is Agent Torres from Narx Intelligence Division A.
And this is the next step of my journey. This is the next step of my journey. Let me explain this. He introduces himself. He goes, "I'm Agent Torres." And I'm like, wait, so you also have him playing a different character in your movie? That's even more confusing. No. That's what I thought first, though. But no, we're about to find out in the next scene. They go then, so that all the IA people all introduce themselves. They're like, we're internal affairs, Torres, whatever, and they all introduce themselves, and then they're gonna arrest Ace.
Agent Torres, please.
What do you think you're doing?
You remain silent.
Remain silent? What are you doing, man?
And he goes, his lawyer comes in and goes, take those handcuffs off that guy. And then also the chief walks in at this moment. And I love my favorite, there's so much nonsense happening here. But the lawyer says you can't arrest him, blah, blah, blah. And the chief comes in and goes, yeah, you can't arrest him for some reason.
Now remove those handcuffs from my client.
Wait a minute. What's going on here? There's two of you? What is this?
To Ace, the chief goes, but consider yourself suspended immediately without play.
Detective Clark's investigation is far from finished. As of now, you consider yourself suspended immediately without play.
Yes, the play.
You don't want to take that one again, movie? You don't want to do that line one more time?
As of now, you consider yourself suspended immediately without play.
Suspended immediately without play. Holy fuck. All right, cool. Great.
Okay, so they leave.
Yeah.
The lawyer's
everybody
like,
leaves.
I'm suing or something.
Something, doesn't matter. And then we get out, all of them sit down together.
No, okay, there's a part in this. We when we cut to this and they all sitting down together, what is Torres wearing?
I don't even know.
He's wearing shorts with his button up.
Is he?
Yes.
I did not see that.
He's wearing shorts.
That's what internal affairs officers wear, right? Shorts and a button-down dress shirt.
You couldn't find like cheap slacks or something, man?
He runs warm. He's like Kevin Smith. He only ever wears shorts. So they all introduce themselves again, even though they just introduced themselves in the last scene.
I'm Detective Robinson from the Internal Affairs Bureau. To my right is my partner, Detective Izzy. And this is Agent Torres from Narx Intelligence Division A. I'm Detective Robinson from the Internal Affairs Bureau. To my right is my partner, Detective Izzy.
And this is the reveal, guys. This is the twist reveal that makes this whole movie worth it.
Oh, God.
Agent Torres.
Agent Torres. You all wondering who I am? Let's get down to the punch.
Was undercover the whole time. Here's what happened.
Best way possible.
Here's what happened. They knew, Internal Affairs knew that a lot of these detectives were corrupt.
For many years now in the tri-state area, Ace, along with other cops in the Joint Task Force in the Narc Division, are in a crime family of cops. Nothing different than the mob.
So they sent Torres in undercover as Big Ed.
And for the record, I'm letting everybody know that I am Big Ed. Again, I repeat, I am Big Ed.
What is this, some kind of a joke?
But he was always Big Ed. Fat Joe was never in the movie, guys.
What?
It was Agent Torres wearing a Mission Impossible style mask and using a microchip voice changer.
I've disguised myself. I used a different face and changed my voice. I used this clay technical mask and this microchip to change my identity.
He puts a rubber Halloween mask down on the table and goes, "That was me wearing a
this
mask.
My high-tech tactical mask."
Clay, he says, a clay technical mask.
I used this clay technical mask and this microchip.
And so he was Fat. That's why it looked like Fat Joe earlier. And then when he went into prison, he never actually went to prison. They staged all of that to like
even the court hearings.
Big Ed had a fake hearing in court. It was an act. Even the judge was an actor.
Even the hearings, all actors. And then when
Which
he
is
got
more than we can say for the movie.
Yeah. And then when he got out of, quote unquote, out of prison, he decided he didn't need to use his mask and voice changer anymore.
What?
For some reason.
After my arrest, I had to get rid of this mask and use my true face and my true identity and start a whole new organization with Benny and Mike.
So I think what happened is Fat Joe was going to play this role. Pulled out for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. So they did replace him with this actor, but then wrote in an explanation for why he was Fat Joe in that one scene. Instead of just reshooting that one scene with this guy and having him be Big Ed the whole time, they still wanted Fat Joe to be in the movie so that they could put him on the cover, which the cover art of Photoshop of Fat Joe is really, really good. His head is not the right size for his body. It's great. So they wanted Fat Joe in the movie still, so they didn't reshoot that scene with this actor. They just wrote in this mask bit about him wearing a mask to play Fat Joe early.
What?
Now, during the arrest of Big Ed, he was wearing a high-tech rubber mask. So yes, it's been a goose chase, chasing Big Ed.
So this movie's terrible. It's, again, the least watchable Alex Mays movie, but that little bit of gymnastics that they do in the final 10 minutes of this movie is maybe one of my favorite things in any Alex Maisonette film.
And it was all good until now. We discovered that Ace is gonna play double jeopardy on us and bring his ace into the hole, and bring his ace into the hole, and bring his ace into the hole.
This scene is literally at the table is literally 10 minutes of all of the characters explaining the plot of the movie.
Which
that's all it is.
There are situations where we have like, all right, let's take a minute and explain the plot to you dumb audience viewers.
Yeah.
No, this is so incomprehensible. Alex Maisonette's
Alex Jones. It's about as comprehensible as Alex fucking Jones.
But Alex Maisonette's like, all right. This is nobody can follow any of this. So we're just gonna sit down and literally explain the entire plot.
John Fabio is well connected in government and has many judges under his belt. As we all know, John Fabio now represents Detective Clark.
We discovered that Sergeant Rhodes was assassinated because he was the one who snuck Uncle Mays to partner up with Agent Edwin Torres.
For like 10 goddamn minutes, and then we're gonna, because you're such dum-dums, and I mean, it's still unfollowable, they cut in all the shots of all the characters as they're talking about them.
Now the plan here was to discover who was gonna be the one to try to get Big Ed out of jail. And in doing so, keep Big Ed from being indicted. Now either Fitz or Ace, they were trying to set each other up.
And they're like, and then Detective Fitz, and they cut to a shot of Detective Fitz and Sal, and they cut to him, we're doing this, and then they did this, and they did this, and this gang did this, and when this drug bust was actually this, and Alex Mays was doing it. I'm like, all right, cool, great, awesome.
Agent Torres, he was never placed in jail. He was hidden in a secure place. His fake drug organization, Mike, Benny, even his girlfriend, thought that Big Ed was really locked up.
So this whole thing was orchestrated to weed out the corrupt cops that they knew were in the system. This is all, again, it's internal affairs. It's The Departed, kind of. Like, that's kind of what he's going for, but it's incomprehensible.
We have a job just like you guys have yours. In your department, you investigate criminals. In our department, we investigate cops.
And we wrap up the story. Everybody gets arrested. Sal gets arrested, title on screen, convicted, 25 years. One of the other cops gets arrested, plea deal for 10 years. Paulie gets arrested. And then it cuts 5 years later. No, but now it shouldn't say 5 years later because we
present.
Yes, we bookended this. Learn how to. God damn it! We started already in the current time, and then we went 5 years later.
Once upon a timeline, about 5 years ago, man.
Don't say 5 years. Oh, just say present, current day, whatever. God damn it. And we cut to Ace playing against himself in the car. Now, because this actor clearly isn't a set of twins. It's just one guy playing both roles.
It's not terrible.
No. It's not because they do a good enough job of like never having the other person in the shot.
Weirdly enough, they do some decent coverage stuff with this and how they block it.
Yeah.
Good looks, man. Don't wait too long to do that.
It's not terrible, but and they change up his outfit enough that, you know, it would be one thing if like he was wearing like the same shirt with like a hoodie over it or something, you know, but no, he's wearing like a suit in one and like a Hawaiian shirt. Like it's completely different outfits. So, you know, it's different enough that they put some effort in. But then, so they have the money. Ace, the two Ace twins got the money from this drug deal, and they've been sitting on. Yeah, the pair of smoking aces. They've been sitting on it for 5 years, waiting to spend it. And they're in this car, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the tattooed arm from the beginning of the movie with the bracelet comes up with a gun and shoots Ace in the head, both of them.
What?
And so I assumed person was in the backseat of the car with them.
And they didn't notice.
And they didn't notice that this person was in. Okay.
2 bodies were found in the car this morning on the Upper West Side. One of them was an ex-cop in the Narx division, along with his brother.
And then we cut back to the pier, and we get the voiceover. Hey, man, so this is the end of the story, man.
Yeah, man. So this is the end of the story, man.
All right. So we're back to the pier. Also, this is a horrifying story to tell to like a 5-year-old kid. Why did he tell this little kid about all this like and also incredibly confusing and boring? Like it's just like internal affairs, corrupt cop. Like no kid would be interested in this fucking story.
Yeah, man. So this is the end of the story, man.
So the ferry shows up, and the still as yet unseen face of the Jamaican Rastafarian guy takes the little kid's hand and walks to the ferry. And as they're walking onto the ferry, another kid in an Affliction t-shirt that's blurred out is walking off with a Nerf gun or something. And him and the kid run into each other, and they turn and look at each other. And then it cuts, and it's Big Ed.
Yes, it's Big Ed.
It's Big Ed. And Maze goes, "That son of a gun, Big Ed, some things never change." And we cut back and we see Maze turn to the camera with his fake dreads. And we're like, oh shit.
That son of a gun, Big Ed. Something never changed.
Maze was still alive
the whole time.
The whole time. Also randomly ran into Big Ed and his kid. But it's not Big Ed. It's Torres.
Yes.
It's not Big Ed.
Yeah.
But whatever. Or he is Big Ed Torres. I don't even know. And that's like the cool twist, wild ending is, oh shit, Maze was alive the whole time and was actually this Jamaican Rastafarian guy.
So this was my epiphany.
Yeah, what's your epiphany? That
5 years ago, in this movie, 5 years ago, he got shot, right?
Yeah.
And then the Checkmate came out, or Turf War came out like pretty much 5 years after this.
Yeah.
So now we're in a 10-year span. It doesn't quite work because he said 15 years, but 10 years ago, he got shot.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is, I thought that at first too. I was like, oh shit, is this going to be in the continuity of those later movies? But it's not, because we see him get shot in check. Like we see
do you think he gives a shit?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, man.
Kyle, what? It's irrelevant. That's the end of the movie. What do you think
It's
of
Good Bad? It's Alex Maisonette.
Yeah, it's good bad, but you can you can watch this whole thing totally legally online on Tubit or some sort of streaming. If you Google like Narx streaming, Narx 2011 streaming or something, you can find it and watch it for free, totally legal. I'll say good bad, but caveat that by saying it's the least watchable of his movies. The first 30 minutes, I was worried we weren't going to be able to talk about this because I couldn't follow it. I couldn't follow what was happening, and I didn't know how to talk about it. About 30 minutes in, the plot kind of starts happening in a way that you can actually follow and see what's happening.
The narrative structure is almost intelligible.
Becomes intelligible for the last hour to some extent. It's still completely confusing and incomprehensible to the point that they realized that and had a scene at the end where they try to explain it and still do a terrible job.
As long as we don't have Billy Owens, I think we're all right.
Yeah, it's better than...
I think we're going to survive.
Yeah.
I don't even have a clue what's going on.
But it is good bad. The dummy scene... The mask...
I've disguised myself. I used a different face and changed my voice. I used this clay technical mask and this microchip.
It's not quite as fun and well-paced and followable and watchable as Checkmate or Lady Rider, but it does have all the hallmarks of an Alex Mays film, and it is thus good bad. Because Alex Mays is one of those masters.
He's essentially the East Coast Neil Breen.
Yeah, he is. He's the cop. We've said it before, but he is the cop Breen. He is the cop movie Neil Breen. He really, really is. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode of Good Bad. My voice has almost left me. I've been sick for a couple of days and finally feeling better, but my voice is not recovered all the way. And yelling for an hour doesn't help. As always, you can support us on Patreon. I might be dead by the time this ends. You can support us on Patreon. We just released an episode where we talked about Aquaman and all that kind of stuff. A podcast episode where we talked about Aquaman and Glass and Spider-Man and Into the Spider-Verse. We'll have another episode coming out soon. I want to talk about Russian Doll, which is a TV show I watched, which is really good. A few other things. Also, if anybody's playing Apex Legends, hit me up on PS4. I need some squad mates. Just find me on Twitter, send me a message, and I'll add you on PSN. Had something else I was going to say. Oh, I have a podcast called This Film Is Lit where we talk about movies that are based on books. The latest episode that's out is Minority Report. Actually, when this is out, still Minority Report, which is a good episode. We talk about Tom Cruise running a lot, so because he does a lot of it in that movie. It's a good film. And that's it. I literally can't talk anymore. So until next time,
keep watching movies.
especially Narx.
Narx.